Do you know that feeling when you know you have things to do but then you'd rather just scroll on Instagram Reels or TikTok? Not gonna lie, I am pretty guilty of this myself. Even now actually, but if you ask me, it honestly bothers me. You are aware of what you need to do, and yet there's this weird feeling that just can't get you to start working on them. Some call this procrastination and others consider it as laziness, but what if we've been calling it the wrong thing this whole time? We throw the word lazy around a lot, like the moment we don't do something, we just assume that laziness is the problem. Just by doing a quick search on YouTube, as you could see, there are lots and lots of content about this stuff. I mean, you could even see here that a doc explains what procrastination is, which is crazy, by the way. And the views of some of these videos are just crazy to me. I mean, look at this one, it has 61 million views. It goes to show you how big of a problem this is. Kinda wonder how much money they make from these videos though. These videos are filled to the brim with advice, showing you routines, tips and tricks, and some just straight up telling you to lock in. And these are all valid advice and they all make sense, don't get me wrong, but for some odd reason, none of it actually stuck with me, and I always wondered why. I have watched countless videos about this problem in particular, especially in the past because I'm quite an avid procrastinator and it's something I don't actually want to admit, but you know, I gotta call myself out sometimes. The amount of tips and tricks or routines or even just the motivational quotes that are corny that I find in the internet, it was enough to overwhelm me because there's just lots and lots of information out there that aims to solve this specific problem. None of it actually stuck with me despite even trying, and it's probably a discipline issue on my part, not gonna lie. But at the same time, something else felt different. I already knew I had things to do. I had dreams and goals that I care about, but I still didn't do it. And with these videos not being able to help me understand why I'm like this, I just said, fine, I'll do it myself. Hence why I'm making a video about it. Just kidding. Kidding aside, I opened my journal and I asked myself why I'm like this, and I tried to answer it as honestly as I could. It took a while, but the answer I came to was much deeper than I expected. They were feelings of discomfort and uncertainty, and when I was confronted with these feelings, I only felt one thing. It's fear. I like to believe that we're using laziness as a label, and it looks something like this. Hey. Oh, hi. Have you folded the clothes? Because I'm starting to run out of clothes. I'm actually on my last jacket right here. No. Why not? Folding hurts my back and I'm not even old. But there's a lot to fold right now. Why does it have to be me? I'll do it later. Maybe tomorrow. Do I even have the time? Why don't you do it? Fold them yourself. I don't want to though. I'm just lazy. Okay. I mean, think about it. We have gotten so lazy that we're using it as an excuse for why we actually avoid the work or why we procrastinate, and I'll admit, saying you're just lazy is easy and understanding it is quite difficult. Like I said, it took me a while. Hi, Editor Mar here. I wanted to re-record this segment because I ended up yapping too much, which is why, as you could see here, it ended up being too long. And if you ask me, this whole segment could have been an email. Anyways, if I sound different, that's because I'm sick. And yeah, anyways, I wanted to understand because I cared about my goals and I knew that if I didn't, I would regret it. So I asked myself, why am I so scared and how do I make the task seem less scary? And what I came up with is simple. I just try to make my tasks seem easy. And here's what I do. I like to break down my task into very small, specific steps. And I try my best to do the first one right away because most of the time, once I do the first step, I find myself doing the next. I'll use this video's outline as an example. If I were to tell myself to write the outline and just the outline, you have to think about the whole thing. And when you think about the whole thing, it's very intimidating in my opinion. Which is why in writing the outline, I broke it down into steps. I write the intro, context, the story, and the lesson, and the outro. There are 5 steps in writing my outlines. Now that I have broken the outline to smaller steps, I just tell myself to just write the intro. Do you see how much more specific and smaller that is? The fact that it is much smaller in perspective to me makes it less intimidating. And when I tell myself to just write the intro, I ask myself, what is the very first step that I need to do? When you think about it, it's just something as simple as opening the document. That's all. It's very small, and I wouldn't overthink this if I were you, because the hardest part in doing a task is just starting. And if you ask me, once you get your foot in the door, it'll be much easier to like get in the flow or something. And I think the reason this works for me is because I'll admit I do not like complicated things, and the fact that I made my task seem small, specific, and simple, that to me just makes it seem less scary. If you watch my previous video, you would see that something's a little different around here. My setup it's just different, and there's a reason behind this. Back in my previous setup, I was outside of my room, and you know who else is outside of my room? My dad and my sister. And the reason I transferred here was because I was so scared of recording these videos out there, because I feel like I'd be a nuisance, I'd be disturbing them, and I feel like they'd be judging me for the things I say. And seeing how I cared about this YouTube dream of mine, I couldn't help but just think about transferring here to make recording videos much easier. And now that I am in my room, I wouldn't have to worry that much, because if I want to record, I could just shut the door. Yeah, it's much private that way, and I love it. Anyways, that is all for Editor Mar. Now I'll let Task Mar handle the rest of the video. Anyways, back to you, me. The more I thought about this story of mine, the more I believe that maybe the goal is not forcing ourselves harder into working on our responsibilities or beginning tasks in general. And maybe it's more about trying to understand ourselves better first. So to summarize, I think that laziness is an excuse that we use to explain why we avoid the work. And this suggests that something else that is different might be going on deep within us. And for me, that is fear. And in understanding this, I was able to help myself come up with ways to make things less scary, like transferring my desk from my old setup. Another thing that has definitely helped for me is to just make the first step clear and to just act on it. Don't even think about it, just do it. And sometimes, and most of the time, getting your foot in the door is enough, and it'll actually sometimes just get you doing the next steps. And wouldn't you know it, you're already doing the next. It's quite magical if you ask me. So if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. It definitely means a lot, and you're quite a real one. And I mentioned in the video that writing things down has definitely helped me a lot when it comes to planning things, and I made a video just about that, and I'll put it somewhere over here. And yeah, that is all for me. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.